and this is going to be the first of many pack reviews. This one in particular was requested on the Discord, the Ethiopia pack, and I was actually looking forward to getting to dive into these packs individually one by one and give you an unbiased perspective from a Civilization 6 player since vanilla and where I think the game has gone. I can also, in the future, if you like this video, provide some feedback on Rise and Fall and Gathering Storm and whether or not you should buy them. And I also hope to provide some higher quality, more in-depth content regarding Babylon this week. And hopefully, if exams and moving permit it, I can continue on and do Vietnam, Kublai Khan, and then the final pack, which we do not have any leak information on. So without further ado, let's begin and dive into the Ethiopia pack. So the Ethiopia pack introduces a new mechanic, secret societies, and that's really the big selling point of the Ethiopia pack. If you're buying Ethiopia, you're usually going to buy it, of course, for Ethiopia or the secret societies, and probably not something like the diplomatic quarter or some of the new city-states introduced, like Li Hong, I believe it is pronounced, and there was another, like Hunza. Not too sure on that one. That may have been included in the last pack, Maya and Gran Colombia, which I will upload sometime in the future. But I'm not sure on the city-state specifics, but I know not many people bought this pack for that, nor the diplomatic quarter. So I just wanted to get that out of the way before we started talking more about secret societies, which is the main focus of this pack. Ethiopia, at least in my opinion, is more of a side note. After the harsh criticism of the Apocalypse mode introduced in the May update of the Frontier Pass. So we have several societies in the Secret Societies mode, 4 of which are specialized towards different victory types, and it's its own game mode. However, the victory types these societies are specialized towards can be flexible. So, for example, if you're playing as the Hermetic Society, which I have displayed here, while they do specialize towards science and great people generation, you can also go towards something like a domination victory with them. However, you may not be as successful towards a domination victory as you would otherwise, like something the society specialized towards. So, for example, you have, just to list the 4 societies outright, you have Hermetic Society, which really specializes in science and great people generation. You have the Owls of Minerva, and they're more espionage focused. They're a bit broader, and they tend to go towards government specialization, diversification, and just adding more capabilities to your government via wildcard slots and economic policies. And then you have the Vampires. They're not called the Vampires, they're called the Sanguine Pact, but everyone in the Civ community usually refers them to colloquially as the Vampires. So with the Sanguine Pact, they're obviously military focused. So if you're playing as a civilization like the Ottomans, they're going to be a great asset to your toolkit. And they're going to further expand upon what you can do, because later on they can build vampire castles which increase yields. You get more of them, and they later become able to transport or teleport between castles, sort of like how great people can teleport between cities. Now, for the final society, I believe this is the final society, you have the Void Singers. Actually, I don't think it is the final society. No, it is the final society. There are only 4. You have the Void Singers, and they're more of a Cult of Cthulhu-based society, and this was kind of where the pack itself was getting some criticism because they had vampires, they had these cultists, and only the Owls of Minerva and the Hermetic Order were more based in reality in the eyes of harsher critics and sub-forums like Civ Fanatics. So they got a bit of backlash, the devs did, on this, and they even released a Twitter statement about how the next game mode would be more based in reality, and it sort of was, I guess you could say, from a certain point of view, but it was extremely boring. However, I'll touch on that later. But right now, I wanted to touch briefly on the secret societies and then the other component of this pack, Ethiopia. That's actually the diplomatic quarter. Ethiopia, here's their unique palace. And they are led by Menelik II, I believe he is, second. And he has bonuses towards faith generation. He gets it from trade routes, and then he also gets points from, there's the quarter again. He gets extra science and culture from his faith output, which makes him a very interesting civ. So while that is an interesting concept in of itself, what further makes this pack stand out is the introduction of the diplomatic quarter, and the diplomatic quarter basically acts similarly to the government plaza, and it has 2 buildings instead of 3, the chancery and I believe some kind of envoy house, the consulate, and they provide envoys and extra diplomatic influence, along with some bonuses towards culture and other yields, I believe, later on. But basically, when you use this pack and you discover the diplomatic quarter, don't expect it to be too overwhelming. It's fairly simple and self-contained. You can even play it in vanilla. It has different boosts because of that lack of influence, but it is still a strong building, nevertheless. But back to Ethiopia specifically, they have an interesting improvement. Their unique infantry unit or cavalry units is okay, but it's definitely not the main focus. The rock-hewn church, if I can get a quick pick, there's the vampire castle. I don't know, there it is. The rock-hewn church is snow-covered. It gets bonus, faith bonus from adjacent hills and mountains, which is helpful, because if you paid attention earlier, or at least looked at the pack, you would know that that extra faith is being converted into science. And in addition, with one of the Void Singer's medieval abilities that you get, it's basically the same ability as Ethiopia. So instead of 15% science naturally from Ethiopia's ability, you would get 35 because they grant 20% of your faith being converted into science and culture yields. So that can be ridiculous and cause you to snowball very, very quickly. And it can get a bit funny at times just because of how soundly you're beating the AI. However, the pack in general, I thought it was much better than the previous pack, the Maya and Grand Columbia pack, simply because of what the secret societies delivered in terms of gameplay or variety. They all have unique improvements, or at least unique buildings. None of them have unique districts, but that's okay. I wasn't expecting a complete overhaul. And I think they do play along with this kind of intrigue and espionage fairly well, because civs following a different society will react differently compared to civs who follow the same society as you do. And they add opinion malices, which does add a bit of variety to the game, albeit it is a bit simple and it can feel tacked on at times. However, for the price of the pack, which I believe is $7 to $8, you're getting a pretty good deal, especially when you consider that the Maya and Grand Columbia pack, which I believe was $12, it only included like half of a mode, which was Apocalypse mode, and kind of, well, basically half of a civ with Grand Columbia due to its overpowered bonuses and straightforward gameplay. And then the Maya, which were definitely convoluted to work around, but I'll get to those later. But just with my personal opinions on the pack, the Ethiopia pack, and trying to be as unbiased as possible, I can say that out of 10 stars, I would give it at least an 8 to 8.5 out of 10, simply because of the gameplay variety and some of the different interactions and how you can expand your toolkit using all of the secret societies. But I would definitely recommend this pack to you, along with a few others. The New Frontier pack is still being processed individually each month with new content updates. But just as a whole, if you do not want to buy the whole pack for $40, which is a big investment because it's the same price as a full expansion, then I would definitely recommend trying out the Ethiopia pack, getting into it, and then if you like it, go on and purchase the New Frontier Pass. If you don't like it, I don't think there's any harm in it. The Secret Society still adds some replayability, and I think they do add a lot of variety in terms of what they add to the table. So this has been Civ Extraordinaire. I really like the Ethiopia pack. This is just one of many reviews in the future. So if you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe. If you didn't, please let me know in the comments. And I hope you all stay safe. I'm pumping this video out after an exam, so I'm a bit rushed, but I just felt that I needed to get this video out while the iron was still hot, proverbially, if you understand my gist. But I hope you all enjoyed the video. I love you all, and I'll see you very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching.